Like all the way back. Body nice and comfortable. Breath starting to flow. Will this be a moment of release from all that came before this? Fresh blank slate. From here, we'll take a moment to connect with an intention for our class. The idea I was thinking of for today, there are so many different devices that tell us more than we ever knew about our body and our system. There's a lot of people that have, say, Apple Watches or rings that will tell us body temperature and pulse and heart rate and all sorts of different variables. I have a ring that each day it'll tell me how different things went, like my sleep and different items like that. And sometimes it'll tell me your heart rate dropped really late last night. And so make sure to take it easy today. Make it more of a day of rest for your body or recovery. And it's so helpful because it's like, oh yeah, I did feel groggy, you know, I should take it easy. And it's helpful to have that outside thing telling us. But I wanted today to play with the idea of our yoga practice being like all these devices, all this technology that we have. So really it's a chance to tune in and come to learn of that type of communication that we can have, so that our body can speak something quietly and we catch it rather than having to yell at us by having a huge amount of disease or pain or different things like that that might arise to teach us. So as we move through our class today, really try to tune inward over and over again. Listen to how the muscles feel, listen to how the breath feels, feel if you're carrying stress in certain areas, because all these little intuitive things will teach us all sorts of goodies about how we can treat this body a little bit better. So that's our intention that will help us to lead forward into class. So with that, to get us started, let's begin to take the knees into the chest. Let's do a little bit of easy rocking of the low back, just back and forth a few rounds. Use this as a chance to already tune into the low back and even the hips a little bit. Check in with how this is feeling. Easy breaths in and out. Let's transition from here into happy baby. So the knees start to go a little bit wider, slide the hands to the outside edges of feet. This is intuitively up to you what you do with this. So perhaps you're really pulling on the feet, inviting the knees to open up a little bit wider, inviting the low back to lift a little bit. There's all sorts of goodies that you can tune into there. But if you prefer to rock or to straighten and bend legs, those types of things could also be helpful for tuning into your system. You get to choose. A few really relaxing deep breaths. Inhale, exhale. Let's release our feet all the way to the ground for bridge pose, so close to the glutes. The hands slide in on the floor right beside the hips. We'll go up and down a few rounds. With our inhale, we scoop the tailbone up, rise up one vertebrae at a time. Exhale, return all the way back down, one vertebrae at a time. Nice moment to check in a little bit higher up the spine. Inhales. Exhales. 3 more like this. 2. And 1. Do a bonus lift, staying up at the high spot. So lift up. If you can reach hands under your back, claps. If you can walk shoulders together a little bit closer, great. Hips lift as high as possible. Feel the shoulders, feel the back, new places to tune into. Inhale. Exhale. Hands release, return the hips all the way down to ground. And here, go ahead and slide the legs back long. We're taking a banana shape. So right ankle crosses over left, legs scoot off the mat on the left. Up above head, grab right wrist and scoot the shoulders off to the left. So banana shape to left. You could be passive here if that's already getting good stretches. You could be active here. Either way, there's even more new muscles to tune into in class. Maybe you feel the hip, waist, the ribs, the shoulder, all sorts of goodies going on here. More beautiful inhale. Exhale. Good. Release. Banana the second side. Left ankle crosses over. Legs scoot to the right. Above head, grab left wrist, scoot to the right. Same quality, active or passive. We bring your awareness to the sensations going on. Special kind of one-pointed focus that we work on. What area of my body is trying to speak to me? And focus on that area. Is there a special message it's trying to give you? Maybe you carry your bag on one side and it's telling you, please switch every once in a while. Or other little messages like you carry stress right here. Maybe stretch this a little bit. Do one more good breath. Huge inhale. Beautiful exhale. The arms and legs release. We're back onto the center of the mat. Leave the left leg. The right knee comes into chest. Give it a huge hug as if the thigh is trying to massage the intestines. Good breath there. Inhale. At the exhale, this knee starts to cross over the body, head into a twist. Really set up the right arm, stretching out to the right, rounded to the floor. So where are you feeling this? Feeling it more in the low back or in the hips? Just notice, tune into it. Another good inhale. Exhale. This right hip returns to ground. Before we switch sides, we're taking figure four. So this right ankle comes up to left thigh. Set up a nice hug. One more breath in and out. So as you release this right ankle, drop the right leg all the way to floor. We're hugging around this left knee. Try to hug it in so tight it touches up to the side of the waist. Inhale. Exhale, start to twist. This knee crosses over the body. Remember to ground the left arm and left shoulder. You don't have to force the knee so far. It's more inviting gravity to take over? What's the balance point that feels helpful? More inhale. Exhale. Hip returns down to the floor. Figure four on this half. Left ankle to right thigh. You can invite the hip muscles to relax into the shape. Sometimes they get into a hip stretch and they clench to kind of resist it. See if instead you can see how deeply the relaxation can go through. Notice, are there differences significantly between left and right? Inhale. Exhale. So now as you release, we're setting up for some straight leg switches. So left leg extends up to sky, grab onto it. Right leg at first just drops down to ground. A moment with this hamstring stretching. First time tuning into that area today. I'm going to do a muscularly controlled switch. So right leg floats, left leg lowers softly to ground. We grab onto that right leg for a brief stretch. Feel how it's doing, what's going on here. And now left leg hovers above the ground, and let's do a few switches. So left up, right down, and switch. Using the hands is perfectly fine. That can help us pull the top leg into the stretch a little bit deeper, but you could also choose to use no hands, just muscular activation. Nice breathing. We're switching legs. Another 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Both legs come up, and then one more happy baby here. Grab the feet. Choose again. Are you going to the same option as before? Are you exploring something different? Be playful, but also remember to tune into the system. Sometimes when we're going a little bit faster, we forget to pause and reflect. Really listen. Sometimes I have to close my eyes to listen to my body a little bit better. Good. So as this is feeling good, let's rock our way up to a boat pose. So maybe 2 or 3 rocks, just rolling back for a moment, massage through the spine. Eventually pausing in boat. You can have bent knees, you can have straight legs, arms with or without. Just a couple of breaths. Tune into the core. 2 more cycles of breath. And pull in, out, 1 more. Grab onto the ankles, set it into cobbler. Lengthen the spine up, tilt forward. Go ahead and lock our front foot. Relax with that. Imagine breathing into your back space for a moment. Huge inhale there. Nice exhale. 1 more breath. Just listen to what it's trying to tell you. So as the spine rises up, take the knees together. Let's set up a nice hug around the thighs. Keeping that tight hug, start walking one foot forward and the other. Walking ourselves to the point where the hug feels like it needs to break. So that might be pausing almost at the beginning. It might be pausing almost flat. The point that the hug is still set up, chest touching the thighs. Let's release, finding the floor, roll the spine up. This right leg comes in, we're grabbing on around the foot if possible. You could choose to switch to ankle if that helps you lengthen the leg a little bit deeper. Couple of breaths here, trying to invite the leg higher and higher. Anchor the left hand on the outside edge of the foot or ankle, whatever you can reach. Right hand opens up to a nice twist for the spine. Returning forward, this right knee bends, set the foot to the thigh. Circle the arms up to sky, nice lift through the spine, exhale forward. Starting to rise. Lengthen the right leg, left leg, both comes into hands. Foot, ankle, whatever you can reach. Feel some nice extension. Try to get that leg lifting. Anchor the right hand on the outside of leg or foot. Left hand opens up for the spine. Inhale. So we're turning forward, foot to thigh. Once we're back up to stacked spine, circle the arms up. Inhale. Exhale, release. Starting to rise up. The feet can come together, bent. We're going to lower down to elbows, sliding the hands right under the glutes, one at a time. The heart lifts up, and the crown of the head rocks back, so it's like a version of fish pose. So the heart stays open for a moment. Pull the throat open. And one more inhale. Exhale. Chin tucks in. We're freeing up the hands, rising back up. The feet are slid forward from where they were in the first cobbler's pose. The knees open back up. As we tilt forward, this will allow us some space to get into some of the low back areas so that we can do the chin back. We're sliding our right hand to the right knee. As the right arm starts to straighten, this pushes our nose over the left knee. The left hand can just be free up. Feel the right half of the low back. Heavy through the center as we're switching sides, left hand to knee, pushing into that. Nose over right. Good. Head heavy through center. With one breath in the middle. Huge inhale. Exhale. Start to roll the spine back up. We'll take a couple of neck stretches before we move on. So you can stay with the legs like this or just come to a simple cross leg. We're dropping our right ear to the right shoulder. Sometimes it's nice to hover the left hand above the floor off to the side. So if that feels good, take it. Pause for a moment with dropping the head slightly behind shoulder, rotating the jaw upward. And then back to neutral over the shoulder. And then take the head slightly in front of shoulder, nose turns down. Slowly roll head all the way through the center, chin to chest. Good. Roll the head back up to stack. And left ear goes over left shoulder. Maybe right hand hovers off to the side. And slightly behind shoulder, jaw rotates up. And back to neutral. Head slightly in front of shoulder, nose turns down. And return chin to chest. Good. Head rolls up. Transfer to hands and knees. So take a couple of cat-cows, getting into the spine again. So round the vertebrae up, exhale, and down. Look for your full breath cycle. Total exhale, total inhale. 3 more. The shoulder blades spreading away from one another. As the belly droops down, pull them squeeze together a little bit. You want more space in the front of the chest. One more up. Down. Good. And then neutral spine for a moment. The toes stretch, all 10 toes try to tuck. As much weight as you can send back to the heels, try to send it there. If this is intense on the feet already, stay. If you can come up to a full sit on your feet, that would help them stretch more, but that can be too intense. Don't push the feet too much, only as much as they're okay. Stretching the fascia on the bottom. Tune into that area. Sometimes there's deep lessons our feet have for us. So many acupressure points there too, so just stretching can be really nice. So give it 3 more slow breaths. Start to head forward. Those circles for the feet can be nice, or pounding. Let's take it into downward facing dog, using this as a chance to continue to massage through the feet. Rolling around as much as you can at the down dog. Stay in this down dog a bit longer. Sometimes even going to stillness for a couple of breaths can be really nice. At any point that you're ready to come up to a forward fold at the top, that's fine, but don't feel the need to rush. hands forward. We'll take one more inhale. Deep exhale. Inhale, circle the arms up to sky. Exhale, hands down to heart. Shifting your weight onto left foot. Try to bring this right knee up in front of you. If possible, clasp around the shin. Think of it like when we were on the floor, trying to bring the thigh into the side of the waist as much as you can. Good. Lengthening the spine upward as well. Beautiful. One more inhale. Exhale to standing split. The hands drop to the floor. This leg tries to get directly up. Bending the left knee a little bit. The right leg softly lands to the back of the mat. And for this first one, we're dropping the knee down to the ground. So take a couple of breaths here with hands on the floor. Try to get the hips to really sink low. Knees not forward of toes. You can choose to stay here, especially if you feel the front of this right hip opening. If you choose to, you can come up to the hands on the thigh or the hands reaching up to sky, but don't back the hips away. They're still trying to launch forward. Inhale. With our exhale, the hands land on the ground, straighten the front leg. It's a nice half split. Try to get to sensation, whatever you need to do to get there. So perhaps lengthening the knee joint, perhaps inviting the chest a little bit lower, or if anybody needs to scoot the leg forward closer to full splits, that's also fine. So the hands come to the inside of the foot so that this foot can come all the way around. We're going to dolphin pose, drop to elbows. One hand is a fist, the other hand hugs around the fist. Tuck the toes, lift the hips up like down dog, but we're still on elbows. And then walk the toes in as much as you can. Head is not touching the floor. Just skip it, yep. It's like, hello, I'm still here. Better clean it out for that. You're still doing okay, maybe 3 more breaths. At any point, if you'd like to just drop to child pose, that's fine. Child will go back to down dog. Walk our feet up to top of mat. Circle up to sky. Right back bend as you come up. Down to heart. Playing with the balance again, shift your weight to right foot. Left knee starts to float. If you can hug around it, great. If you're here, continue to lengthen spine up. I go to fight the thigh all the way to the waist. Or inhale, it's okay. Exhale, try to drop to standing split. Sometimes with standing split, I'll leave the hands on the floor. Sometimes I work fewer and fewer fingers on the floor, maybe one hand around calf, sometimes both hands around calf. Eyes very active, looking at a single point. Softening the front knee to bend. Softly land the back toes on the floor and lower the knee. Couple of breaths with the hands on the floor. Get the unit set up so knee doesn't go past toes. So sinking low. Feel that psoas in the front of left hip. Your choice if you'd like to come up to thigh or reach for sky. Inhale. Exhale to the half split. Front leg straightens, hands to floor. Again, tune into sensation. So maybe the knee, if it's bent, it continues to lengthen. Maybe chest continues to lower. Play with it to the point that you feel good things open. Exhale, this foot starts to swing around. You drop down to elbows or not. And then dolphin pose again. Option for this one, if you want more of a challenge, right leg reaches for sky and then taps the floor. Left leg reaches for sky and back down to floor. Switching back and forth, right leg and left. They'll be similar to before, where you're welcome to drop to child pose at any point. But if you're still doing okay, just continue to lift the hips up. 2 or 3 more breaths if you're still there, eventually heading to child. If you wanted to roll the wrists out at all, if you wanted to bring the hands to touch, swing the hands behind the back of the head, these are all options that get us into slightly different spots. Our position, hands behind the head, helps us build triceps a little bit. And let's head up to downward facing dog. To a forward fold. Now to rise. Exhale, head down to heart. Big toes come to touch, heels are slightly separated. Sitting back into fierce pose. Again, the knees don't go forward or toes, hips go back instead. The tailbone tuck just a little bit, protecting that low back. So from here, the right hand circles up to sky, all the way back to a twist behind us. Return in reverse up to sky, forward, hands up. Switch, moving through the left, arm circles up, back, and up, forward, hands to heart. Try to shift your weight to left foot, right foot hovers just above the ground. Circles up to go back, try to balance. And forward. Step the right foot down, left foot floats. And up to go back. And forward. to heart. Both feet down. Lifting the left wrist or elbow. Pause the twist just a little bit longer. And unwind. Switch sides. Good. Unwind. One more breath here. Normal fierce. Out. Exhale. I'll step arms up to sky. Feel those legs straighten. Back down to heart. Beautiful. Either same thing, floating the right knee, trying to hold that, or if you'd like to grab right big toe and find into big toe pose, that's also great. Inhale. Exhale. You swing the leg back. Again, standing split. Hands land to the floor. Leg tries to reach up to sky. This time as we're landing the right foot, it's only about halfway back on the mat. Bend the knees briefly so you can rise the spine up. Preparing for pyramid, the hips are forward. Hands to hips, two straight legs. Start to lean forward. About the halfway point, start to walk hands down shin, blocks or floor. Feel this being another chance for that hamstring to really lengthen. Some of these bigger muscle groups we have to tune into multiple times. Breathe into it. Now as the front knee starts to soften, we're going to send this left leg into pigeon pose shape. So start to heel-toe the foot in to the right. The knee eventually swivels down. The back leg scoots back. If you wanted to be part of your pigeon pose in a back bend, that's fine. If you wanted to just go straight sleeping, that's fine. Choose. Breath, the belly space. So exhale. We're going to head out into Sphinx pose. So lift your hips enough that this front leg can slide back underneath. And then we're down on elbows. Forward and through. Feel the neck growing long. Up the right ear to the right shoulder. And slowly roll chin to chest. The head be heavy in the center. Rolling the head up. Left shoulder. Rolling chin to chest. Head heavy in the center. Swivel the left hand in, grabbing the right hand to the right toes behind you. Split into a quad stretch. And start to switch. Release. Brief child pose. Send back. Arms get that nice length forward. We're facing dog. And at the top of that, to rise. Exhale, hands down to heart. Shifting weight onto right foot, either the hug around left knee or left hand to big toe. Exhale, release down to standing split. Sometimes the balance challenge version, sometimes just hands on the floor is perfect. Softly land about halfway back on the mat. Bent knees, spine rises first. This will help make sure the shape is set. 2 straight legs, hips all the way forward. And we bend at the waist. Buck down the shin or to the floor. Lots of length going on. Sometimes I'll even, again, like I mentioned earlier, close the eyes so I can really feel what's going on. I'm more aware of the little tiny muscle fibers and the tight fascia and things like that when sometimes my eyes are closed. I'm taking away one of my major senses. Inhale. Exhale, preparing for pigeon. The front knee bends, start to swivel the foot in. The knee lands, the back leg scoots back. Again, you can be back bending, you can be sleeping pigeon. More deep breath into belly space. Exhale. Again, hips lift just enough that the leg can slide back, Sphinx. Or still. Good. The hands kind of drag toward you without actually moving. What that does is send the chest. Now we're sending the right arm to the right, a straight arm on the floor. The middle finger is about level with the eye. That's the placement. And we flip around. So right cheek is on the ground. Press into the left hand until you feel the right shoulder stretching. So sometimes it's hip stack. Sometimes the top leg rotates back and plants behind you. You don't have to force anything. It's just about the shoulder. Return the hips to floor. We'll start to switch it out. Left arm is straight. Left cheek is down. Only lift until you feel the left shoulder. Back down to the floor. Take the hands under the shoulders so we can press back to child pose. The knees are a bit wider than normal. That allows for the other side of the shoulder stretch. Left arm stays. Right arm will thread under the left arm. Notice your body. You feel this most in shoulder, in the spine, in the shoulder blade, all sorts of goodies. And we'll start to switch out the arms. And forward, left tucks through. Unwind. Move to a seated place. Come out in front of us. Open the legs nice and wide. We'll take several different shapes here. So first, walk the hand through the center. Knees can be a little bit bent for this one if that helps the hips not pull your spine back. Walk the hands to surround the right foot. Hands all the way through the center to the left. Through the center, maybe a little bit more depth available. Hands walk in, legs can stay or come to cross leg. We're planting the right hand to the right, left hand just up and over. Rising to switch. Good. Rising, the legs come together. Try to utilize the core to return onto our backs. Once you're on your back, do any intuitive last poses that your body needs. Maybe happy baby, maybe one more twist. You get to choose. Take a minute or so just to help give your body a last gift or two, last chance to really tune into how everything feels, relaxing through it all. Sense of urgency at all, but eventually getting to a beautiful, comfortable Shavasana, relaxed pose on our back. And no rush to get there, only when your body's ready. settling into the Shavasana shape, do a slow body scan, starting at the toes, eventually working your way up to the crown of the head, even the hairs, all those muscles surrounding the hairs of your head. And try to invite each and every body part to relax. So mentally name a body part and send the thought of relax there. Gradually shifting up, until you're up at the top of your head. Deep inhales, exhales. Introduce little movements back to fingers and toes, wrists. Stretching out in ways that feel really nice. Eventually taking a nice fetal position off to one side when you're ready, no rush. And maybe 3 or 4 more breaths here, just returning to body, returning to mind, returning to presence. Coming up to a comfortable seated place when you're ready, no rush. Hands together in front of heart. We return back to this idea of learning to listen to our body as if we had all these instruments telling us these things, but we just intuitively knew them. We were so tuned in, especially using our yoga practice to really help us fine-tune that process, that listening. So with this type of listening and communication to help lead us on, let's wrap up the time we shared together today with the sound of Om. Deep inhale now. May we be filled with light, happiness, and peace. Namaste.